right, 1411, multiplying integers. And looking at page 460 and 461. Looks like most of our problems are over here on page 461. So let's talk about the rules for how this works here. So the rules for multiplying, the rules for dividing are the same. So I'm going to kind of write out the rules today, and I don't really want to rewrite them when we divide. I don't think we'll need to, which means that lesson will probably take less than 10 minutes to do. But I'll give you the rules for multiplying and dividing are the same. Okay? So I'm just going to write them out today. So first thing you want to do, first, multiply or divide the numbers as if they were both positive. Or I guess I should say all positive. Okay, I'll write out a few examples here in a minute here. So I'm going to write out a couple problems here. I'm going to do -7 times +5. I'm going to do +5 times +4. I'll do -6 times -3. And -8 times +6. All right. So I wrote out 4 different problems here. Right? So what I would do first to solve any of these, again, I got some are both positive, some are both negative, some have one negative and one positive. See all that? So first thing I would do, regardless of how it's going to end, is what's 7 times 5?
35.
So there's that. 5 times 4?
20.
20. 6 times 3?
18.
18. 8 times 6? 48. So there's the first step. Just multiply as normal. But there's a second step involved here. So second and final step, count the number of negative values in the problem. So if I do that, I'm going to kind of go up here and do it now. So -7, +5. How many negative values were there? One. +5, +4. 0. -6, -3. 2. -8, +6. 1. Okay. What do I do with that info? So count the number of negative problems in the problem. If there are 0 negatives or an even number of negatives, your answer is positive. If there is an odd number of negative values, your answer is negative. A moment to write that out there. And do write it. So when I check your notebooks, I don't take -1 and go, up. Didn't take the notes. Monday, when you're doing the quiz, I will give you your notebook score for chapter 14. So I think there's 10 lessons or so. I don't know, something like that. So,
Our grade for our notebook score won't be in our honor roll thing?
no, honor roll was just a snapshot of where you were Friday at 8 a.m. Report card grades don't get printed until after school is done.
What time did we add our test?
Huh?
Did we add our test yesterday or today?
think it was due afterwards, because that was due this week, wasn't it? Right.
Okay,
and
you
then
gave
your
it back
test
to us
wasn't.
yesterday.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah,
it was
so
due
your test
Friday.
was not part of your honor roll. It was wherever you were at 8 a.m. Friday morning in the grade book there. So if you were real close, we just gave you honor roll. But yeah, your report card grade you don't even know what your grades are really at the moment. I mean, either got A
Unless
or
someone
B,
goes
but
to an option
it's based off your grade. Well, yeah, but your report card grade is still up in the air because we still got stuff to do, right?
Now I'm trying to
Quiz
find
coming,
it.
so, right. Very good, Roland. So anyway, we all got this here.
No. I got this.
Two-step process. Yep, that's fine. So two-step process here. First, and I'll probably give you some with 3, 4 numbers here, not real, but just so you can see how this works here. But it's all about you multiply as normal. It doesn't matter if the signs are positive. It doesn't matter if the signs are negative. You just multiply the numbers out. And then second step, you're going to sit down and count how many negatives. When you're dividing, you can only divide 2 numbers at a time. You can't, you can get your answer and then divide again, but multiplying, you can multiply a whole bunch of things at once here. Kind of like adding and subtracting. You can add a big row of numbers, but you can't really subtract like 4 numbers all at the same time. You have to do one and then take that answer and then subtract it again type of thing here. So, but yeah, this is about it. So if we go back up here, Kayla, I can give you my paper here if you want in a minute. So now we're going to figure out my answers here. They all 35, 20, 18, or 48, but are they positive 35, negative 35? How do I know? So since I had an odd number of negatives here, if there's an odd number of negatives, your answer is negative 35. If I don't have any negatives at all, such as this one here, positive 5 times positive 4, well, everybody knows, back to first grade, 5 times 4 is 20, so a positive. 2 negatives. If there's no negatives or an even number of negatives, your final answer is positive. I don't really understand, how a negative times a negative makes positive. Couldn't really tell you that, but it just does. How's that? And this one here, odd number of negatives, negative outcome. So with the adding, again, depending which number was the negative, had a lot of bearing on your outcome. If I had negative 7 plus 5 or positive 7 plus negative 5, right? Well, both of these are going to give me a different answer. This one would give me a negative 2. This one would give me a positive 2, right? With adding, when you're adding. But when you're multiplying, it doesn't matter where that negative value is. All it matters is how many negative values there are. So different from adding in that regard, where again, adding you had to consider what was the bigger number and things like that to get the right answer. But here, that doesn't matter. It's just a matter of counting up how many negative values there are. That's all there is to it. So the problems in here are, as you can see, this isn't exactly chapter 2 type multiplying here. Here's your chapter 2 multiplying problems. Remember doing these? Oh yeah, you remember this stuff here. Right, yeah, look at that goodness there. Chapter 2. Right, you guys did that. Oh boy, gloriousness, huh? Look at all that goodness. So there we are with money. So as you can see, the problems aren't nearly as daunting from the multiplying side, but not really testing your multiplying skills. I mean, I hope none of these are challenging for you to solve. But what you're being working and practicing on is making sure you get the right final answer.
Is the dot dividing?
Dot is a representation of multiplying. So they show some different ways. They show 3 different ways how multiplying problems can be done. And we've seen some of these before, back when we did our algebra stuff here. When we were dealing with our multiplying and dividing stuff, we understood that was multiply. I guess is. Multiply, they showed it this way here. Right, that dot here is another representation of multiplying. Two numbers by brackets like this without any sign in between them are multiplying. If there's a variable, we can just write it right next to it, right, like we had over here. How we did it back in 14.4. Remember that? Wasn't that long ago, 14.4. I know you were small wee ones then, and now you're budding adults, but it wasn't that long ago. Really wasn't that long ago. All right, so all three of these things, you see the multiplying symbol, you see the dot, you see the brackets here, but all of them are representations of multiplication here. That was a good question, Noah. Okay, why don't we do a couple here? Let's see how you can do with it. Let's give you...
Me or you?
I think you guys can do it here at this point. I think. How much more do I need to show you? 3, 7, 11, and 15. 3, 7, 11, and 15. Negative 2 times negative 5. Negative 8 times positive 10. Positive 1 times negative 20. 5 times negative 10.
I like how you just like solve it and then you do this side.
Right, two-step process there. Two-step process. Same exact rules for dividing. I'm not planning to write the rules all again for dividing. I'll just say, go back to 1411. Let's review the rules.
Melcher, I don't feel like a budding adult anymore. I feel guilty doing these easy problems.
Yeah, well, they weren't always easy.
Can I just write down the
Again,
answer to number
the main objective here is, again, you've never really had exposure to multiplying with negatives. Is it hard to do? It is not. But you still have to have a day learning how to do it. Right? I can't just assume you know how to do this without ever teaching you how to do it. But it's not hard. We all got it. So you can tell me what the final answer is here. Number 3, Ella. Positive 10 is correct. So 5 times 2 is 10. I see I got an even number of negatives, 2 of them. Even number of negatives tell me my final answer must be positive. Number 7, Michaela.
Number 7,
What's 8 times 10?
80.
80. And how many negative numbers are there here?
1.
Yep, and if there's an odd number,
So, I do, like I said yesterday, so I look at the one that's bigger, and then I look at the one that's smaller, and then, I looked at that one, so it's positive 80.
that's for adding. When you're multiplying, all you need to do is count how many negative numbers there are. Is that a negative number?
Negative 80.
So that's a negative number. What about this one?
Positive 80.
So that's not a negative. So how many total negative numbers do I got?
1.
1. And if I have an odd number of negatives, is my answer positive or negative?
Positive.
Negative.
Negative.
Right. And it comes back to this here. You want this sheet here? Right, there you go. You can keep that if you want there. That's basically your rules. So you gotta count up how many negatives there are. Doesn't matter which one's bigger or smaller with multiplying or dividing. All that matters is how many negative factors are there. And if there's an odd number, like 1, 3, 5, those are your odd numbers, well, then your answer's negative. But if there's no negatives, or an even number like 2, 4, 6, well, then your answer's positive. All right, number 11. What do I got here? George.
Number 11. Well, 1 times 20 equals 20.
Yeah,
And there's 1 negative, which is odd, so that's negative 20.
very interesting voice there, George. Right, negative 20. Number 15, Noah.
So 5 times 10 is 50,
Yeah,
and there is one negative in that, and one is odd, so then it would be negative.
yes it would, just like that. Yeah, good. Feel all right about that? Okay.
We're not doing number 20.
Let's go down, yeah, 22 through 27. Let's look at those. So compute, I'll do 22. And then I'm going to throw a couple other problems at you. So here's what 22 is, right there. And I'll walk through another one with you too. But we got to go back to our PEMDAS rules here. And what does the P stand for? Parentheses. So whenever I have parentheses, I have to do the order of operation in parentheses first. What's positive 3 plus positive 9? So I got a positive 12 here. And then I'm multiplying that times positive 5. So what's positive 5 times positive 12?
60.
60. 12 times 5.
I thought it was.
So to solve these here, again, use your PEMDAS. You'll have a addition problem in the brackets there. Use your rules of addition to solve. Get your sum, your answer to your addition problem, and then multiply it by whatever this number is sitting outside the brackets. So first you have a small addition problem to solve. Then you have a multiplication problem to solve. Got it? I'll walk through 23 and then I'll give you a couple of these. 2 to try. So positive 3 times the sum of negative 1 plus positive 2. Feel free to give it a shot on your own. I'll walk through this.
You walked through this one?
Yep. And I'll give you guys 2. Okay. Got it?
No. I have that open in the.
So first thing I'd want to do is solve my addition problem. Negative 1 plus positive 2. I see the signs are different. So I would subtract the bigger minus the smaller value. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then carry the symbol from the one that had the greater value. Looks like I end up with a positive 1. And then I'm going to multiply that times positive 3. Positive 3 times positive 1 equals positive 3.
Yay. I almost thought I got the wrong answer.
All right, you guys try 24 and 27. Negative 9 times the sum of negative 7 plus a positive 4. Negative 6 times the sum of negative 3 plus a negative 4. So again, 2 things to do. First, solve your adding problem. Take your sum and then multiply it by the number outside the brackets.
No, we're doing 46 and 89. Oh,
Yeah, almost like
Easier.
Isn't mentally stable. She's in grade.
There.
he's digging a hole through his head.
He's gonna dig.
Actually, don't give him the
Save the brain, Uriah. You're still in the cup here. So we need you.
No, I can dig it out the cup.
4 more of you still in there. All right, you ready? All right, 24. So help me out. First, I need to know the answer to my adding problem. Roland.
So 24. So take all the signs off. 7 plus 4 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's so 11.
No.
No, and then you gotta put the sign.
Still no. Negative 7 plus
Yeah.
positive 4.
Yeah, first you add 7 and 4 and then flip the sign on.
That's if the signs are the same.
Aw, shucks. I will do it.
Roll it still.
Isn't it the same thing though? Isn't it still 7 plus 4 that you put on the sign?
That's if the
that-
signs are the same. If the signs are the same, you add the values, carry the sign. If the signs are different, I got one negative and one positive.
So are we adding?
Yeah?
So do we turn the positive 4 into the negative 4? The signs are different.
We spent like 4 days on this here.
Jesus crazy.
What's the rule when adding when the signs are different?
Adding when the signs are different. Flip stuff?
No, that's wicked.
Somebody help roll it. This is
I
ridiculous. Okay, look at Rob roll it. They're all just
It's
ridiculous here. Go back to one of you 4 here. Let's see, one of you 3 here. Pick one of you. Roland, you might want to pay attention here.
Hope it's not
Uh, George.
Yay!
All right, help Roland out here. What do we need to do?
So, I gotta look at my answer. Okay. So, first off, you are gonna put the plus sign into a minus sign. Oh yeah.
I'm going to force them.
And then you're gonna minus 7 minus 4.
Uh-huh.
Alright? Then you're gonna put the negative, then since 7's bigger, you put the negative sign on the answer.
Which is
Negative 3.
negative
Oh, yeah.
3. Right. When the signs are different, you have to subtract, Roland. You have to subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. Carry the sign from the one with the greater absolute value. All right, George, finish it off.
Alright, then negative 9 times negative 3 equals 27.
Positive 27. 9 times 3 is 27. Even number of negatives. 27. Stella.
Okay, so negative 3 plus negative 4, the signs are the same, so you add, so it's negative 7.
Yep.
And then negative 6 times 7 is 42. And there's 2 negative signs, so it's positive 1.
Right. There we go. Very good. All right. Last thing here. So I'm just going to create a few problems. We're going to have more than 2 numbers. I'll keep them pretty small here, but just multiply them out. But I want you to see, is the final answer positive or negative? Same rules apply. Count how many negative values. If there's an even number, positive answer. If there's an odd number, negative answer. Think you can do it? 2 problems here for my last 2 sticks. Negative 4 times positive 3 times positive 2 times negative 1 times negative 2.
What is it? What? 4? Negative 4?
So multiply the numbers as if they're all positive, then count how many negatives you got.
Times negative 1 times negative 2.
Positive 1 times positive 1 times negative 5 times negative 2 times negative 1 times positive 2 times positive 1 times negative 1.
Maybe Mr. Maltry.
There we go.
No, you're getting
Give Lauren the second one. She
No.
really
Yeah.
wants it. You can see it.
None of them are that big. They're not that much to.
This one's easy peasy, mac and cheesy.
None of them are that big.
Michaela, okay, what's the answer, Michaela?
What's the answer? Oh, yeah.
Multiplying by 1 doesn't change the value. They're not long problems here.
They are.
Yeah, it's more testing it with the negative. It's not, they're not as hard to multiply.
The second one. Lauren's putting all of
Got it right.
chapter 14. On the second one.
Wait, there's a second one already?
Yep. Yes.
It's really only 3 numbers to multiply. And the second one,
Oh, yeah.
5 times 2 times 2.
5 times 2 times 2. Actually, give Lauren
Everything
the
else
first
is a bunch of ones that don't.
Yeah, Lauren's the first one, actually.
Alright, first one. So you need to figure out what 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2 is. I got the answer. Lauren. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2.
All right, is that 48?
48, I agree. Now, the $1 million question. Positive 48 or how do you know?
Because there's 3 negatives.
Right. 1 negative, 2 negative, 3 negatives, 3 negatives, odd number, negative outcome. Negative 48.
And you guys is the last one once again.
Yep, and there it is.
I'm coming up here to do the problem since I can't see you
He's
all.
joining us. So what's 1 times 1 times 5 times 2 times 1 times 2 times 1 times 1?
Like, it's like
Three, four, five,
I can't, like, I can't.
It looks like a pumpkin.
Where is this on my phone? Are you talking about this? Oh, what's it talking about?
In a box. The fox eats chops in a box.
You
The
don't
fox
need
eats
to
chops
know.
in a box. The
Yes,
fox
I do.
eats chops.
Say that 5 times. 1 times 1 times 5 times 10 times 1 times
1 times 1 times
2
1.
times 1 times 1.
Wait, 1 times?
5 times.
Can I just say that it's a positive?
1 times 1, 5 times.
What's 1 times 1 times 5 times 2 times 1 times 2 times 1 times 1?
20?
20. Good.
Positive 20.
You sure?
There's 4 negatives.
1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. Even number of negatives. Positive outcome. Just like that. Feel good about it?
I know, I feel
Wait until 29.
29.